stop there. Well, I have to ask, man, are you sure about this? I'm not sure if they're ready, you know.
Listen, man, we can't wait any longer. And we're not going to know if they're ready unless we challenge their minds.
I hear that, bro, but times have changed, you know. People are mad sensitive nowadays. Everything you say offends them.
I know. And we're going to offend them. But I don't care.
In that case, I guess we got to do what we have to do.
Peace, family. Peace, and welcome to the Black Opinion Podcast. We're back. Right, before we even get started, you guys, if you're tuning in, you ain't like, share, and subscribe. You better do that right now. Share. Let people know we're here. We're here from 7. Yeah, we're here from 7 till 9. We've got 2 hours of us right now. And just to remind you all, this is a live phone-in podcast. I say phone-in. But hit the link and then you'll come in. Podcast. You can call in and have your say because the Black opinion is just not our opinion. We want to hear your opinion. But if you're gonna call in, you have to be on camera. This is a no troll zone. Okay, you know there's loads of trolls on the internet that want to just phone in and say all kinds of stuff. You've got to be on camera. All right. This is also a freedom of speech zone. Just because you don't agree with what we say doesn't mean that we can't have a conversation because we believe in healthy conversation. That is how we come to find new things, okay? We don't shut down people's freedom of speech on this show. You can disagree with me, you can disagree with Marcus, or you can disagree with the other pivotal piece in this whole thing. Mr. Addoink at the back, say hi, man.
Greetings, people. Welcome. You're in for another treat. Let's go.
Yeah, we're in for a treat today. So, first of all, last week we spoke about the Will Smith saga. You guys all saw it, and we also spoke about men going at home with Marcus. What did you think about the last episode?
Well, you know what, funny enough, there's an update. Because, you know, a lot of people are talking about, protect our black women and all that.
Right, yeah.
Well, the latest greats I heard from the grapevine is that Jada's next thing.
Which is,
she wished Will never slapped Chris, and she doesn't need no man to protect her.
Addoink's over there like, what? So she doesn't need a man to protect her. Wow.
I think that news.
Addoink, what do you think of that?
I'm quite shocked because I thought Jada Pinkett was, I don't know, I can't work her out. Is that statement true? Is that a truthful statement?
Yeah, exactly.
I want everyone not to take our word for it.
Yeah.
To go and research it yourself. Because this statement's meant to have come out yesterday.
Okay,
so
all right.
go and research it for yourself. Don't ever take our word for it. Go and research it for yourself, find out, and we'll say statement.
So she literally said
she threw him under the bus, basically.
But she's been throwing him under the bus from.
But she does it well at this point. At this point, it's like dominatrix level. Like,
freaking hell, man! Listen, like I said, I feel sorry for Will Smith. Did you have any feedback on the men going their own way thing?
Yeah, I had a lot of unhappy MGTOW guys.
Yeah,
they was getting at me. But I told them at the end of the day, there's a lot of things we do agree on. Well, the name really, men going the other way, just not something I would support as a type.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a lot of things we would agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think with, like I said, I think I understand why the movement exists. I just think the extremes, when it comes to it, it's just a little bit too much for me. That's just me.
Yeah.
But today, we are going to touch on why the Western family has broken down. Okay. Why has the Western family structure broken down? But what we're going to do first, we're going to play a video, right, from Addoink's going to cue that up. And we're going to just review this video and see what, someone else is saying about the Western family structure and the way it's broken down and what it actually, I guess what it actually means. Addoink?
Slide.
No, the video, man. Play the video, my friend. There we go. All right. Play that video, let the people see. Let's have a look.
Wendy B. Manning, titled Cohabitation and Child Wellbeing, stated the following on health. At birth, children born into cohabiting parent families are more likely to have low birth weight than are their counterparts born to married parents, and more often experience asthma, obesity, and poor health than do children born to married parents. On finance, the median income of cohabiting parent households is about 50% lower than that of married parent households, and cohabiting mothers of young children have lower incomes than do married mothers. On behavior, children born to cohabiting parents have more problems with peers, more aggressive behaviors, more internalizing problems, and more negative teacher assessments than do children born to married parents. Instability then appears to harm
of children. The behavior of children when they're in a cohabitation type situation versus a single situation.
Yeah.
It's kind of alarming because if you look at the prison statistics, most people or most men, and women that are in prison come from single parent households.
Yeah. You know, this is really a polarizing topic to me because in my world, it's the obvious.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But
Right.
to a lot of people, you'll find a lot of people defending their single parent home.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you should defend your home. Don't get me wrong. Everyone should defend how they're born and grow up, how they was raised, and all of that. But at the same time, like, I don't know, you've got to accept reality.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can't sit there and say to yourself, this is an equal situation for somebody with both parents. Now that doesn't mean that somebody with both parents isn't going through things.
Right.
You know, I don't want to make out like having two parents is the perfect lifestyle. I would just say it's more ideal.
It is the ideal.
It's definitely more ideal. You know, like, and then I'm sure we'll get into that later in the show. But then, just having two parents ain't nowhere near the level of having a village.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that's for a bit later in the show. But somebody with a village can't brag to somebody with two parents.
Because you've got more than just the two raising you.
Exactly. You've got grandmothers, uncles, aunts, cousins, and you're all in the same facility.
Well, then that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the family structure, because generally the family structure that we've been told in the Western world is mother, father, children. Are you now saying that family structure needs to be extended further?
That's a very basic Western family structure.
Like mother, father, children. That's very basic. I mean, if you go to so-called third world countries, it's based around the village. And then the village is based around the community. But it's funny because in the Western world, we have all of these words.
Like?
Village, we have village.
Right, okay.
We have community, but they're seldomly do we engage upon these words and turn them into practice.
Right, okay.
Like, would you say...
Are you saying they're just frivolous?
Yeah, they're frivolous. In the Western world, they're frivolous. You can't say... Like, if you come from Brixton, maybe at one period of time, you could say it was a community.
Right, okay.
But now you just live in Brixton.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? Can you really go to your neighbor, your neighbor's neighbor to get some milk or to get some sugar, if needed?
I guess there was a time when people could do that.
There was a time. But that was when it was a small villages within Brixton. And then which made the whole community, which is Brixton.
Right.
Same thing for Hackney, Tottenham, all the other areas. And now what you'll find is just, it's been segregated so much that we broke it down into estates.
Right.
Like, you could live over there, have beef with another guy just from another estate, literally 3 roads away. And then that turns your household into single parents, because you got to think about the connection of street issues to the single parent home. Because a lot of people don't really indulge into that. They just think.
Are you saying that if there are a lot more cohesive households, that will be less crime?
That's 100%. That's just, you don't need to take my word for it. Just go to any gated community. You get your results right there, innit? Go to any gated community, and you'll see that where there's balance in the home, and there's balance next door, on the left and right side of your neighbours, you'll have a more balanced community. Your children will be able to walk home from school free.
Are you saying that like the community keep each other in check, basically?
Village. We're going back to village.
Each other in check.
Yeah, we're going back to the village.
Okay.
Again. Yeah. Like I'm going to be nice about it.
Yeah.
But in villages, you won't find, respectfully to the ladies, but you won't find some tart in a village just sleeping with everyone's husband, because it wouldn't be allowed.
You might find that.
Yeah, but she would get excommunicated straight away.
No, I heard that.
Like she couldn't just be sleeping with the women in the village's husbands, and still be chilling in the bits. It just wouldn't happen, would it? Right, but in an individualistic single parent area where single parenting is predominant, you're going to find a lot of this behavior, not just from women but from men too. This kind of promiscuous.
Right, we're going to get into that. You know? Yeah, we're going to get into that. Let's read some statistics first of all. There's a website called singlemotherguide.com, and it actually says, Addoink, can you get that on the screen, please? Single mother statistics. Let the people see. So it says, single motherhood has grown so common in America that today 80% of single parent families are headed by single mothers. Nearly a third live in poverty. Next one, please, Addoink. So 80%. Yeah, here we go again. Once largely limited to poor women and minorities, that's what it was limited to. Single motherhood is now becoming the new norm.
Yeah.
This prevalence is due in part to the growing trend of children born outside marriage, a societal trend that was virtually unheard of decades ago. Is the single motherhood rate, thanks for that, Addoink, is the single motherhood rate, as a matter of fact, first of all, why is there such a high single mother rate?
Because like what they just said in that piece you just read, it's a trend.
They also spoke about poverty.
But the key words I take from that is trend. It's becoming a trend.
So you think single motherhood now is being marketed as cool?
Yeah, 100%. Because since the late 60s, strong black woman was promoted. And what do you think the evolution of strong black woman is?
Single.
Yeah, because you're strong, right? And you don't need...
Independence means single.
And and there we go. So it becomes a trend. And when something becomes a trend, its next metamorphosis will be something like a subculture, which we're kind of seeing now, where it's not just... You used to have bad situations, women falling into bad situations, like they get with, I guess, what they would call a dog, right?
Right.
And then he leaves, wants nothing to do with the youths, and she's left in a bad situation. Now you have women saying, because of the trend, and the new up and coming subculture, now you have them saying, do you know what? It wouldn't be a bad idea for me to just have the youth and just not have a man. Haven't you done a show before?
I did a podcast when the girl was saying that she'd happily go and get a baby from IVF or a sperm bank, and that just be her and the child. And
she was comfortable saying that, right? And I want to dig a little deep into that. Is not only was she comfortable saying it, but she said she actually would have support from her family
to do it.
Now remember what I told you about the subculture thing? Now it's becoming a subculture.
It's a trend now.
The trend comes first.
Right.
And then after the trend evolves, it turns into a subculture. Where people actually live in it. When you got a culture, you're proud of your culture.
Right.
So now you're seeing it's not a bad situation anymore. Well, it is, but now...
But they don't see it as bad.
No, right, because it's become their culture now, where they're turning around and saying, I'm proud. I'm a single mom and I'm proud. And they hold back on all of the struggles they're going through.
You
never hear them lonely nights. You never hear this you has kept me up all night. And you just wish there was a man in bed with you to just jump out the bed, to turn around and say, don't worry, you catch some sleep.
And I'll deal with it.
And I'll deal with this.
Yeah.
But because their newfound subculture, which is really built off no real logic at all, it's just built out of ego. Like they just continue on down this path into this weird backward subculture, which doesn't benefit them. It doesn't benefit the child. And it's not my opinion. Like the kind of stats prove that, innit?
So what I want to touch on though also is that, okay, if we talk about single mothers, right? And the fact that the single mother rates are so high, what happens to the children, right? This is what I want to talk about. We're talking about the family structure. What happens to the children of that structure? We've just shown that children that come from single parent households are more likely to do all manner of things, right? Which are negative.
Yeah.
How do we take those children, or is it our responsibility to take those children and mold them in a way so they don't do those things? How do we get to a point where as men, or do we get to a point where as men, we take on someone else's children to mold them? How does that, do you think that happened?
It's a really multi-layered question. Very, very multi-layered question, because do you take on somebody else's children to help mold them? If you're community-based, yeah.
Village-based.
Village-based, touche, yeah. But do you have a village to take on other people's children?
Right.
And mold them? If you don't have a village in the first place, you could be fighting an uphill battle. Like, you know what I mean? Like you take on somebody's kids, and in the end, you might fall out with a parent.
Yep.
Due to raising reasons, rearing reasons, and all of that. And
so I was on Clubhouse the other day. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah, go for it.
I was on Clubhouse the other day, and there was a woman on there, and they were talking about when she gets a partner, she had a child. When she gets a partner, is that partner allowed to discipline her child? And she was saying, no. No one's allowed to discipline her child but her.
Let me get it right. So he's allowed to sleep with her,
right,
but not discipline her child.
Right.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I don't know. The audience have got to ask themselves that, innit? Like somebody's allowed to sleep with you.
Does that make sense?
But not discipline your child.
Well, she was very vehement about the fact that this child is hers.
Yes, yours. Okay, and I respect
now to get into that, I myself have been with a woman before, and raised a child that's not mine.
Yeah,
and I have felt that same energy. Does that make sense?
You mean
from the child's mother? That I'm only allowed to go so far. Yeah. In the discipline of that child.
Do you remember on the last show where I was talking about accountability for men? Yeah. When you go into them type of situations, that's the first thing that should be on your mind. Am I going to get responsibility?
You're going to get that 100% responsibility.
Are you though?
You have responsibility for that child because it's in your house.
But I'm asking, am I going to get full responsibility?
What, meaning discipline also?
I don't mean when she's in a good mood, I get responsibility. And when she's in a bad mood, I'm the sideman. I mean, am I going to get responsibility? And that's something you need to ask yourself heavy questions as a man before you even get with any woman with children. And when you do get the responsibility, take it on running, like if she's going to really...
So are you advocating for men taking on other men's children now?
I'm advocating for men to be thinkers. So before you even step to taking on anybody's child, you got to know that person inside out. It's not a fancying thing. It's not a we've been dating for a while and you've got to already have built that relationship with the child. That child's already got to want to kind of be like, I need you.
Dad.
Now, she got to go past stepdad. She's like, even if you ain't got that title yet, you got to have that feeling that child needs you in their life.
Right.
And it's not just, again, like I say, when the child's having a good day, you're their dad. When the child's having a bad day, you're not my dad. Like you've got to, that's what I say. I'm not anti going out with women with children. But what I would say is if you cannot initially find out, get your paperwork right with that woman.
What do you mean, adopt the child?
No. I don't mean like literal paperwork. I mean like all of the things I was just saying, like find out who that woman is, really. Find out who that child is, really. A lot of the time, men just look at the youth and just go, the youth's cute, the girl's buff, so I'll just do it. I'll give it a shot.
But a lot of the time, people hide themselves. So do you really ever know someone?
Yeah, but that's what I mean, again, with men taking accountability. If us as men know that women hide themselves, then we got...
No, people hide themselves. Forget just women.
Okay, people in general. So if we know that, then you got the dating process has got to be longer then.
Oh, all right.
Understand? I mean, in America, that's what they got, right? They got dating. And then they got going steady.
But the thing is, how long now do you date someone before you get with them?
I'd date somebody until it's going backwards.
You got to make that make sense, bro. What do you mean?
Deeper, like...
I'd date someone until it's going backwards?
Yeah. Like, if I'm not seeing growth, like every single time, like say one date that we go out, yeah, or some time that we spend together,
right?
It weren't even a great growth period, but we didn't go backwards.
Right. Okay.
I didn't hear nothing backwards.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Do you get what I mean? Like,
all right.
Like, I'm not into being in a relationship with somebody and then suddenly we haven't even hit to the next level, like moving in together, and the sex has gone backwards. Or the child's behavior in regarding to me, if the person has a child, has started to go backwards. I don't now take a bigger step to say, why don't you move in? So I'm saying date until you know for certain, as yourself, as a man, that like you're comfortable. You've seen for yourself that the child's respectful. The child actually has a need for you. It's not a fickle need. Like, it's not like her real dad calls in,
right? And
then suddenly...
But what if he's still there?
Well, again, that's what I'm saying. Men being accountable, like if the dad's there, you got to go and meet him.
Right. Okay.
You have to go and meet him. Like, you can't be like, I'm going to have your daughter living in my yard, and me and you haven't struck up at least some kind of amicable understanding.
Right.
Because you're not coming to my yard picking up your youth with a funny face. You get what I mean?
Because your child's just been under my care for how long?
For how long? Then you will dare come to my yard with like a funny face, like, where's my youth, fam? And then ask me questions. No, me, that's what I say about the dating process has to be longer. Like, if that woman is so serious about you, then you need to turn around and say, you know what, I have to meet your baby father.
Right. Okay.
I'm gonna have to, innit? Because if you notice now, yeah, all of what we've seen so far is a lot of men not meeting the baby father. We've even got films and
they hear about him.
They hear, and that's where the beef starts. That's immediately where the beef starts, because he don't know you, you don't know him, and you're around his most precious, isn't it? Or supposedly his most precious. And that's a supposed.
So you're saying the family structure that you propose, if you're going to take on a single mother, is that you need to meet the baby father. Go deeper on the dating.
Fully. Yeah. Don't just fall in love through a good bit of sex.
But you do understand that a lot of men nowadays, in these days and times, are not trying to take in a woman with another child.
Then more power to them too.
But then isn't that, because we can talk about clan, but then isn't that for the wider community perpetuating the fact that these children are going to be in a dark place? Because they're going to need mentors, guidance, father figures. So what are you asking me? Like, do we need to look after all children? Yeah. No. Basically. Unfortunately, no. My opinion, innit? Unfortunately, no. Like, with everything in life, I think people need to grow up in that way. In everything in life, there's going to be losses. You're going to take hits. Some children, sad enough to say, like, some children are not going to make it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, some children are just so damaged. And it doesn't mean we shouldn't look to help them seek help, but to actually take them on yourself. I wouldn't advise it for every man. It becomes on an individual basis. Like, what type of man are you? You know, are you built for that? Because not every man is a psychologist and a sociologist where they can turn around and break down a child's mind and really get into their spirit.
You get what I mean? And make them understand that you're there for the betterment of them. A lot of men out here have had dirt thrown in their face, even though they've done such a good job or tried to do such a good job. So I wouldn't advise that for every man, because most men walk away from that situation bitter. Like what I say with the...
Have you gone for that situation?
Yeah. Of course I've gone for that situation. But there was no need for bitterness for me, because I don't know, bro. Like there comes a point in your life, you can't keep on walking away from every relationship in some kind of, I hate you, you hate me. It's like a bad vibe, vibe type of thing. You know what I mean? It's not good for, as I talk about, it's not good for the village, bro.
Right.
Because the person's from the same area as me. You get what I mean? And I don't want to walk around my area. You know that feeling that we all have? Like where you like, I swear that I don't want to see my ex. Yeah. And for me, like, that's really, I'm not saying that doesn't happen in other groups of people, I'm sure it does. But for black people, that situation can be really tense because it can turn into something else. Yeah. So for me, personally, relationships that you try and leave, or if the relationship just doesn't work, try and walk away with some kind of amicable understanding. Some shit just don't work. Like the same thing I said to you, not all children can be saved, bro.
Addoink. All right. Addoink. Let's read some comments. What are the people saying about this, actually?
All right. Yeah, I'll put up the screen right now.
All right, I got one here.
Dragon of the West.
Oh, excuse me. What you say? By whom?
Dragon of the West.
We had Johnny.
We had John there.
Okay.
Oh, okay, no problem.
You see it?
Nah, not
What's
as
that,
yet.
TC, sir?
Dragon of the West. Okay. Throughout history, humans and animals have always had tribes and people. It's natural. Nature divides people, and it's not a bad thing. It's a modern logic that tries to make everything the same. Don't think I quite understood that.
Let's go for it again.
All right,
throughout history, humans and animals have always had tribes, and people. It is natural. Nature divides people. Okay, it's not a bad thing. It's modern logic that tries to make everything the same.
You know what, Dragon? Come back and go in again. Come back and go in again. Because,
rewind and come again, please.
Because you might be making total sense and we've just not got it, or it could be like you've just double backed on yourself.
Give us another one, yeah.
You got one from Daniel A coming up.
All right, cool. Daniel A.
Yeah, coming up.
Oh, I think I can see it here, actually.
Yeah.
It says, as a stepfather in 2022, you are expected, it says, you are expected. Hang on, let me read this again. I think there's a little delay there. As a stepfather in 2022, you are expected to provide for that child like you would your own, but you have no authority over that child as you would your own. And that's the thing that a lot of men are coming up against, Marcus.
Yeah, but again, as I said, like, you've got to date for longer, understand that woman for longer. Because remember, that is the case. You already go into every relationship knowing that when it's not your child, you don't really have the law on your side.
Right.
So now,
keep that dragon one up there, though.
So even more so, you need to get into who the woman is.
Right.
Like, put it this way: what's unfair on single mothers is that a man has to basically interrogate you 10 times more than he would without a child, and that to me is only fair. What else would you do?
It's a precaution.
Wouldn't you say for single mothers also, to interrogate every man that they have around their child?
Of course.
Right. So I'm saying the same for men though, isn't it? Because I don't, if I met a girl, she's a nice girl, and then she's got children. I don't know, bro, if the children have got some kind of issues mentally,
Right.
Where I step in the yard, and next minute, some little girl or some little boy is saying, rah, 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 Marcus tried to walk in the while I was in the shower. And they're just literally running something on me because they can't get to see their dad.
Yeah. It happens.
It happens to, bro, it's happened to, like, you got certain guys in jail for that, bro. Yeah, just because under trumped up charges. And this is what I'm saying. I really, on a single mother, I'll really go 10 toes down. And I really have to know who you are, bro. Like, I really, like, it's going to take me longer than it would a woman without children.
Mm.
And I would say maybe not so much back in the day.
Right.
Yeah, when we had more village essence, like everyone.
But now it's the individual.
Now everyone's individuals. Like back, like I don't even want to say back in the day, like man is like creeping on that age, right?
Like you're a dinosaur, bro.
Yeah, but like I never worried about on BD, like on back in the day, I never worried about girls that were single mothers having the attitudes that they have now. It's like they've evolved into a different type of monster, bro.
So, great segue. So, when society, going back to the 60s, 70s, when society gave women and men the opportunity to opt out of family with the birth control pill, do you think that was a shift in the breaking down of the Western family structure? So giving people because remember there was a time where if you got a woman pregnant, people would force you to marry her, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You can literally nowadays, with the whole sexual liberation movement, just have sex with who you want, and the responsibility, because you're on the pill or contraception, blah blah blah, it gives you more freedom to just be sexually free. But that's a psychology. The sexual liberation is a psychology, right? To just be you're sexually free. Yeah. But now, if you take that psychology and you're not on birth control, is that contributing? Well, I would say it's contributing, let's say, to the breakdown of family structure, because family is no longer even cared about. It's like you said, it's single mothers. Yeah. It's about, oh, if I get pregnant, I'll take care of the child myself. Because I was so sexually free and sexually liberated. Yeah. If it does happen, boom. So do you think that the implementation of the contraception was a factor in the breakdown of the Western family structure?
I'd say in the Western one.
Right.
In the Western one.
Right.
Because I don't really think in certain other countries you need contraception like that. Again, when they say third world countries, I don't really think you need contraception like that. Them people are dealing with village mindset.
Because in the third world, obviously, abortions happen less.
Yeah, much less, because when a child is born, like let me tell you something that there's a guy, and I don't really like to mention names of celebrities or famous people. I prefer to just talk about the actual subject matter. But I got to name this guy. There's an MMA fighter that I respect heavily. He's not of my religious standpoint or anything like that. He's not even of my race. But his name is Khabib Nurmagomedov. Right. And the way my man talks, everything is my brothers, my sisters, my village, my town, where I come from, where we are, our women are strong, where our men are, we wrestle, bruv. You don't want to play with us. We're not a game. And he's talking to the women
and the men.
Right? Now they don't need condoms, bruv. Build more warriors like him. And more females that bred him. Right. What's the need for condoms? Flourish. But in the Western world, where you've got like,
what's the difference?
Just like everyone's got their own individual ego. Khabib's ego is for his group, and their ego is for Khabib. And vice versa. Do you get what I'm saying? When he won the UFC title, but like where he comes from, it was like Christmas. It was like a god came down. But really, to them, it's their brother that done something. But the way they were cheering, it's like mothers was crying and holding their children like they had won. Right. Their children had won. We'd all won, right? But over here, I don't know, bro. Like it's a totally. I think we need condoms and contraception over here, because when you got things like, I know these things like in real life, real terms, girls putting holes in condoms.
Right. That happened to you saying?
No, never that.
Oh, okay.
Never that. I'm a bit more on the Drake man. Yeah. Where's the hot sauce? Yeah, I'm telling you, no, a bit more clued than that, bro. But Drake just got me losing my flow. Like,
no, holes in condoms, you were saying.
Yeah, holes in condoms, right? And other things like men like trying to, without being too crude, like trying to bust nuts in girls, yeah, to get them pregnant on purpose. Yeah. That's like a Western culture thing, bro. Like that's us.
Yeah.
Like over here, it's that like our ego is individual. Whereas when you find people that come from villages and all of that, like it's one ego. It's a shared ego. You know what I mean? So one person has a child. It doesn't really matter the circumstances. If the guy was moving loose,
right?
Yeah, you're going to put yourself in check.
Yeah.
Because the whoever it is, their imam, their priest, their whatever it is going to have a meeting with you and say that you got pregnant. And the priest is most probably going to know the father of the daughter, and he's going to be like, "Oh, you're going to be a man right now," right? But in the Western world, if some girl did catch me out and pinned up the condom, and her brothers came to my yard like, "Oh, you're gonna do the right thing,"
right?
"Oh no, we're gonna be swinging outside," because I don't know you, bro.
Right? Who are you?
Who's you telling me that I'm gonna take care of? You don't even know the move.
Yeah.
What she did. And most probably, more than likely, because my family's not connected with your family, you most probably won't believe me. You're just coming here to stick up for your sister because that's your ego. That's why I say a lot of the time in the Western world, why we need contraception, because a lot of people live in bubbles. And in your bubble, it's your world, and what's right to you is right. And in my bubble, what's right is right. And when we collide, I think contraception is needed. Unlike other countries and other areas, bro.
All right. I want to go into the new family structure that I've seen happening in a few parts of the world, right?
Yeah.
So, Addoink, what I'm going to need you to do, bro, is bring up that Dwayne Wade slide, please. So, look here, bro. So, this is Dwayne Wade, basketball player.
Oh, yeah.
NBA.
Yeah.
In the middle, that's his son.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. And on the right, that's his wife.
Yeah.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, go on.
I don't actually think there's anything wrong with the way they look and the way they're dressed. Like, he's wearing a skirt. All right. Probably.
Make that bigger for the people to see that. Yeah. Let's make that bigger for the people to see that.
What is the problem with what the son is wearing?
Dwayne's actually.
No. It's his son.
Dwayne's actually wearing a kilt.
Yeah, Scottish people wear that.
But there's no kilt with the leather thing like that. It's got to be a kind of tartan pattern, but it is in the shape of a kilt.
Right.
All right, take that off. I got a son.
Yeah.
And Dwayne Wade's son is now a girl. Who's
a girl?
He's now a girl.
PC girl. He's a PC girl.
He's a girl.
Okay.
It's a new family structure. Look at that.
Yeah.
Your son can be your daughter. Your daughter can be your son now.
In a PC wise. Yeah.
So that's where we're living.
Yeah.
New family structure. Charlie Theron, please.
2 seconds. All right.
So new family structure.
Yeah.
The first one, that one. This is Charlie Theron. That's her son. Adopted. New family structure now. You can go and adopt children from other countries or adopt a child.
Is this a little banter you?
This is the Charlie Theron actress. This is the son that she adopted. Yeah.
He's a black boy, yeah?
He's a black boy. Addoink. Yeah. What does her son look like now, please? See that? That's her son now.
Can I just make it wider?
Yeah, make it bigger for the people. That's her son now.
Yeah.
That's disturbing.
Is that the family structure? Is that the family structure we're trying to look for right now? Where your mum can turn you into a different sex. Because it's happening.
Do you know why I'm so on this clan thing?
Right.
Because I don't want to take away their right.
Right.
To move Buki. Yeah.
Right.
And I don't want them to take away my right to move the way
you want to move.
Yeah. So if you want to turn your little black boy that you went and paid some black people for, yeah, and turn him into a girl, that's totally up to you.
All right.
It's nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me.
What effect do you think it has on the wider society?
More people with money are gonna get more little black kids, boys especially, and make them wear dresses. I think that'll be the reaction. But I as much as they're allowed to do that, I want my right to do me.
Right.
So go and do what you want to do, yeah, because remember what I said on the show before, clan moves, based on its major fundamentals, is the results, really. So if you're over there with a bunch of little black boys wearing dresses, and I'm over here with a bunch of black boys training in MMA, go with whatever you think's best for you.
For the future.
For whatever you think is best in it, because when the burglar comes to your house and the burglar comes to my house, your son's going to be screaming with you, as he should, maybe. He's a girl. PC, right? So, and my son is going to look for where I told him the baseball bat was.
Right.
To save your mother. Or your family members, or whatever it is. So I just want my right to be able to live like that.
Right.
And they can do whatever they want to do. I'm not against them. Like, do their thing.
People, as you can see, we're touching on some very interesting subjects right now. Okay, I'm sure you guys have a lot to say about what's being said right now. So, as well as it being the black opinion, it's the people's opinion too. So we want to know what you think. So what you need to do is click that StreamYard link. It is right there in the live chat.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
We want to hear what you got to say. Okay, because that's some very interesting topics we just spoke about, but we're not finished. Don't worry about that. We are not finished, but yeah, Addoink, you let us know if anyone clicks that link, right?
Yeah.
And
as soon as somebody comes up, I'll holler at you.
All right. So one of the things that I think why the family structure is breaking down, is because men no longer have no longer know their purpose. When men know their purpose, they create, build, plan, structure, and lead. Yeah. Right? One of the reasons I feel like the family structure is breaking down is because men haven't been doing that. And if they have been, let me just say, I don't think they've been doing that to the extent that they need to do it. So, because last time on the show, we spoke about, we'll set you the rules. Yep. And if you're down with the rules, you're down with the rules. And if you ain't, then you ain't. But the bottom line is, around here, these are our rules. So if you're going to come here, these are the rules that you have to abide by. Yeah. Right. Men need to do that in my personal point of view. Yeah. They've lost their purpose.
Well, what let me put the question back on you. Like, what do you think men's purpose is in being men?
That's like I said, to plan, build, structure, and lead. And whether that be your household, your nation, your village, your community.
And what I'm doing is I hate playing this role so much. I've never hated playing the role so much.
Do it.
I'm gonna play the devil's advocate with no, not even devil's advocate. I'm gonna play PC advocate. Right. Yeah. Women can do that too.
Not like men can.
Yeah, they can. They're just as good.
No, they can't, because everybody knows that societies are built by men.
But if women were given the chance, they could build it too.
No, because if women are given the chance, like we've seen in the Scandinavian countries specifically, when men and women are equal, women choose differently to what men choose. Yeah. Okay. So when they get the same opportunity, the outcomes are not the same. Yeah. The outcomes are different. Yeah. You can be an engineer, she can be an engineer. You can be a doctor, she can be a doctor. You can be a midwife, he can be a midwife.
Yeah.
Generally, women don't choose the STEM fields. They don't choose science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Yeah.
They choose things like social care,
Yeah.
midwifery, stuff that is about more nurturing. It's the men that generally tend to choose the STEM fields.
Yeah.
So women can do it, but they choose not to.
Yeah. I mean,
men choose to do it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? There's a difference.
Yeah. We choose to do it. I mean, there's one of the teachers of mine said something very interesting to me. Like, I asked him about this whole manosphere thing and families and etc. You know what he said? He goes, if our nation went to war and there was men and women fighting together on the battlefield, and they wiped out an army, and the only thing that was left of this army was a room full of children. And those children, 110% unequivocally, when they grow older, they would take revenge.
Right.
For the war.
Yeah, because their families have died.
The women wouldn't shoot. The majority of women wouldn't shoot in that room.
Wouldn't shoot?
Wouldn't shoot in the room with the children in.
Right.
To deal with the long-term problem.
Right.
Because there's no way these children are going to grow up and not take vengeance for their slaughtered parents.
Right.
But the men would shoot, then go through the trauma with dealing with it, because they knew it was for the best of their village in the future. Because they knew there would be another war and another war. If you don't eradicate, basically what he was trying to say is that men will make the hard decisions and the burden will fall upon them. I heard a guy, I've rarely watched Black Chat or any of those type of shows, but I heard one of the guys on there, and big up to him, Lucas. He said a saying, and I found it so interesting, the saying he said, he goes, men are there to be loved and there to love and not to be loved. And I had to deep it.
Break it down, please.
Men are there to love and not to be loved. No one appreciates really what it is men do.
And what is that?
I think it's to the point of what you were saying with what's men's purpose.
Right.
A man's purpose, to me, is the burden of being a man.
Wow. That's heavy.
I know a lot of women will go, my period, we've got to give birth, we've got to do that. But I don't really think sometimes women understand, because of the Western world, women can do exactly what men can do. When I was playing the PC advocate, but in truth, when you really have to ask women the honest truth, like, men have to jump for the bullet first.
Of course they do. Yeah.
Right? And if I saw a man jump out of the way and push a girl in the way,
right, you'd be like, what kind of man is that?
I'll deal with him. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, because like, it doesn't matter his sexuality.
Yeah, you're still a man. You're
still a man. Don't let a woman catch it, right? And this is our burden as men, and nobody really talks about it. The burden to be strong, the burden to be tough, the burden. And what they've tried to do, in my opinion, is they've tried to make all these different versions of men. You don't have to be strong. You don't have to be tough.
Hence that picture with the child, with the boy.
But he's a girl, right? But he's a girl, right?
Right.
But as I said, they've tried to make all these different versions of men. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to speak for women, yeah? Women need to start talking up for themselves, which I'm quite annoyed with them for not doing.
Yeah, they're kind of silent on that kind of thing.
They're kind of silent on that kind of thing, because when they have a girl child, do they go, that little boy, who's a girl now,
right,
is just as much a girl and understands their daughter's feelings just as much. I haven't seen women, and that's what I mean. I go back to men's burden is jumping up when the time calls.
When the time's right, yeah. Which
is
why
you see in situations like this, the men are saying something.
Yes.
The men are going, Dwayne Wade, what's going on? Yeah.
The trans swimmer, what's going on with that?
What's going on?
Yeah.
But the women are sitting back like, my hairdresser's gay, don't really want to say too much.
Right.
Do you get what I mean? My brother's the other way, I don't really want to say too much.
Yeah.
But again, that's what I go back to, men's burden, which is never spoken about. That's why I said I rate the boy Lucas from Black Chat, who said, men are there to love and not to be loved. Do you deep it now?
Yeah.
And that's what I broke down. So basically, we're kind of like the world's punching bag in a way.
Men.
Yeah. Kind of like, like you got those men that hide behind like a suit and a tie.
Right.
And they don't really have to be men.
Yeah.
Because they make money.
And decisions.
Yeah? And decisions.
Yeah.
Well, men like ourselves have to kind of like make sure there's food on the table, make sure there's bills being paid, make sure your child's getting to school, make sure your child's getting a good education, make sure your child's not getting strip searched in school.
Right.
Do you get what I mean?
Right.
Where a lot of other men, well, not a lot of other men, but there's certain groups of men in power that they'll just be like, you wouldn't dare, because I'll just sue the crap out of school. You'd go to jail.
Yeah.
I've got police friends that I roll with. And this is what I say, like the burden of men that struggle, that have to do the 9 to 5 and all of that, the burden of those men. That's why, don't take my word for it, innit? Like ask doctors who's dying at a faster rate.
Yeah.
And what are they dying of?
Yeah.
High blood pressure. What's what kicks in high blood pressure the most?
Stress.
Don't take my word for it, innit? Like, do your homework. So
Addoink, have we got any more comments?
We do. We've got 9. I'm not going to go through all of them.
Let's see some comments, man.
So we've got another one from Daniel A here. It will show up on the screen in a couple of seconds. There's a delay. So
right.
It will come up.
Okay, let's see what Daniel A had to say.
Do we have any ladies giving comments?
Yeah, we got
some females. I'd love to hear what the females.
I can't really tell by
Okay. Daniel A says, for sure, the pill allowed men to exercise their sexual freedom. Sorry, women to exercise their sexual freedom. Not saying that's a bad thing. They are selective sex. And normally the risk of pregnancy would check the worst of their behavior. So if they knew that pregnancy is the outcome, and they never had that safety net, they might check. I think he's saying they might check some of their behavior.
Yeah, of course. Responsibility will make you check yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
I was thinking about that. Sorry, Marcus. Please continue.
No. Just lastly, I'm just saying, like, if you knew what you wasn't getting a flat because you had a baby, you wouldn't have there wouldn't be that many babies, would there? You know what I mean?
Don't give us another one, bro.
You got one just here from Dragon of the West again.
Oh,
condoms are a form of population control.
What do you think about that?
Some people need to be controlled, bro. That's what I think.
Okay.
I think
don't know if this person's a female. I don't know.
Some people need to be controlled. You wouldn't want certain groups of people just breeding. I know you can say that now, but it depends where you live in it and who's breeding around you, if we're all honest.
Peggy Laswell says, if I identify as disabled, can I compete in the disabled Olympics?
If they let you. If they let you.
Listen, folks, you got to start calling in, man. You got to start tapping that link. You got to get yourself in here. We want to hear what you got to say. You got to start sharing this, liking and subscribing. If you guys ain't shared it, as a matter of fact, Jeff, how many people we got watching?
103.
How many likes we got?
I can't see right now.
We got 46 likes. We got 106 people watching.
Come on,
folks,
people,
come on, man.
Push the pressure.
Let's get the traffic coming this way. Okay? Not just here to be a bystander. Help us. All right? Help us.
We're getting a few ticks now.
Yeah, help us. So anyway, we need you to call in though. Folks, we do need you to call in.
Yeah, don't be shy. We don't bite like that.
One more comment.
Go for it.
And it's from African Empress 01.
Finally a female. Hopefully she is.
You never know nowadays.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at what it says. Yeah, it says, Sarah, I am still not buying that you don't know why. Women didn't make them lose it. I cannot speak of the witches. We women also do not need babysitters, dominators. I don't know what that was in reference to, do you? I don't know what I was in reference.
Do you know what? If I'm right on what I think she's talking about, as far as I know, African Empress 01, witches don't deal in feminism.
Do you think it was to do with feminism?
I think the statement is based in feminism, is it not? Women also don't need
babysitters or dominators.
I don't know. Like
but who's asking? No one's asking you to be dominated.
I don't know. And this is what I say with human beings today. Like there's and respect to her for the comment. It's brave to write your opinion these days. So I can respect her very much so for her opinion. But at the same time, you know, like you can watch all of what we said today and you can still come up with dominators and what was the other one she said?
Babysitters.
And babysitters.
After what we've been talking about.
Yeah, you can
hear all the words that came out of our mouth
today.
And the term you came up with was dominators and babysitters.
Like, and this is what I mean. Like, I think, I don't know how old she is, but I would guess she's a 90s baby. around that time.
Well, it's 01. She could be an 01 baby. How would that make her? That would make her like 19.
19.
20.
Because
20, yeah. 21.
For me, like, when you say dominator, yeah, I don't know if she's had enough experience with domination.
Yeah.
Because you say, you know, like one thing I know.
Well, you never know someone's life, so you don't know.
Yeah, no, but even if she was in a situation like where maybe her father wasn't the greatest guy towards her mother, yeah? You don't know domination. Because of one life situation, what you know is abuse.
Right.
Domination is where she brought up an interesting point. She said the witches, yeah? But if she wants to go deep on it, the witches were chased from the so-called UK to America and burnt and hung and did it. Does she feel burnt and hung for her opinion?
No, but like I said, I've said this already.
That's what I mean. Domination, people and
the emotions. She allowed her opinion, but I just think people are too emotional nowadays. Seem like an emotional comment, but however, you're entitled to your opinion. But
yeah, no, and I love the fact she's got the bravery to say it, even if I believe she's wrong in her statement, the bravery to actually come forth and kind of state it, even if I think it's a bit ignorant. Like, I give her that because she's actually there for the conversation. I think a lot of them are running away from the conversation now. They're just saying, men are this, men are that, and running to their safe space.
Yeah.
Be here, to actually address it, I give her credit.
And that's the thing, a lot of people, that's the thing about the internet, folks. Like, and that's why we ask you to call in, right? Because you can type in, but can you articulate your point? One of the major reasons, I'm going off a little bit here, but I'm going to get back on track. One of the major reasons why I speak to all types of people and I get flack for it, you spoke to this person, you spoke to that person, you shouldn't give that person flack, is because I want to speak to people that are able to articulate themselves, not just have throwaway comments and be like, oh, so-and-so, and that, and then run off into the dark.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can you articulate yourself? If you can, you better hit the StreamYard link, all right? Hit the StreamYard link. Come and give us your say. We want to hear it. But Marcus, I want to get on to marriage then. We're talking about the family structure.
Yep.
How viable do you think marriage is now, given the statistics? Is marriage the next way to go? Do we need to get back to more marriage or less marriage? Or what do you think of the actual marriage structure? Western structure of marriage? Yeah, this is the Western structure.
It's most probably useless now, isn't it? Like, what? Black suit, white dress, all of that.
No, the actual marriage, not the day.
Not the day.
The actual
marriage. But don't most women get married for the day?
I don't know. I know a lot of women get married for the day and don't understand what a marriage actually is. But I'm saying the actual structure of a marriage. Like, how viable is it?
I'm not even playing dumb. I'm like, the actual structure of Western marriage. I don't know what that is. Is there structure to it?
Yeah, man, woman, I'ma love you for life.
But it's not man, woman anymore. In the Western world, 2 guys can get married, 2 girls can get married.
2 guys can.
Ultra, just to let you know.
Oh,
yeah, funky.
Ultra funky. Thank you for
salute.
Thank you for the donation, my boy. Thank you very much. But yeah, the whole structure of marriage. So the reason why I asked that, right? It was loaded. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit loaded.
Loaded, yeah.
Because I personally think that marriage has become a joke.
Yeah.
It's become a joke.
In the Western world, yeah. Marriage.
And I'll show you how it's become a joke. Addoink, right? Please. 90. Have you heard of 90 Day Fiance?
I've heard of it.
Right.
Let's run it.
So we got to run that. So let me first describe what 90 Day Fiance is. Now let's get to what it is first. Addoink. Let's get to the description of 90 Day Fiance. Put that up on the screen for us. Let the people see. 90 Day Fiance is an American reality television series on TLC that follows couples who have applied or received a K-1 visa available uniquely to foreign fiancés of US citizens and therefore have 90 days to marry each other. The series debuted on January 12th, 14th, and has been renewed with its 8th season, which premiered on December 6th, 2020. Now, this is a show where just to get your visa, you got 90 days to marry somebody.
Yeah.
Marriage has become a TV show.
Yeah.
Addoink, play that clip from 90 Day Fiance.
Please do.
Please.
Start like fresh new. Just you and me. So no more crazy exes, no more nothing.
Well, there won't be any crazy exes if I'm with you.
You don't want me as an ex, trust me.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
She poured water on my body, bro. She poured the drink on my body. Wow.
You need to do something big. I don't know what.
Watch it. Watch it.
Oh my God, this is funny.
This is Fiance.
Oh, is it funny?
Very funny.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
She didn't like what she heard.
Yeah.
She threw water on him.
And I wanted to just like
Now,
take your
listen to this.
neck and, you know,
Strangle me.
strangle you once.
Marriage has become entertainment. So if marriage is supposed to be the structure for what the Western world is supposed to be built on, or family is supposed to be built on, it's become a reality show. That's what marriage is nowadays. It's not serious. No one cares about it. It's entertainment.
You know, I don't want to sound like religious or anything like that, or that way inclined, but I want to stick up for religious people for a second and give them a little bit of credit, like real religious people.
Okay.
Because they would never do this to their marriage system. This is, again, what I'm talking about with the single mother thing. Another subculture.
Right.
That thinks it's funny or thinks you can make a buck off of, like, they will literally, like, they still have to do the vows, don't they?
Yeah.
So they still have to say the whole God part.
Well, you don't have to get married under the rules of the church anymore. You've got like civil partnerships, you've got civil marriages, you've got.
But you
can
still
get it under the state.
But you do have to look in each other's eyes and lie. You do have to do that part.
If you're telling the truth. If you're telling the truth.
Well, at that moment, if you're telling the truth at that moment.
Listen, bro, you gotta decide whether or not you're telling the truth or not. Like, no one knows if they're looking at each other's eyes saying "I do." How you don't know someone's lying? But what I do know is that marriage has become a TV show. That's what I do know. And marriage has just become a TV show.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we've got to the point where we mock our own. Well, not our own, their own. Where people are mocking their own traditions. Like, literally.
Yeah, that's what we've got.
Mocking their own traditions. Like, you know, like Muslims taking the mick out of Ramadan.
Yeah.
Like, imagine there was a Ramadan reality TV show.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was all about, do you know what, man's gonna break the fast on some joke thing. And it really was about that. Who can break the fast and not get caught?
Yeah.
Like that's
they wouldn't make that a TV show.
They wouldn't because the Muslim world would be up and out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They rage for less. Yeah. And so this is what I mean. Like Christian people have got to ask themselves when they say I'm a Christian and and they mock marriage like that for a buck or for a laugh. Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe you're not Christian. Maybe you're just some new subculture thing. You're just some new something. It's very, very strange for me to watch people for money and a laugh just mock their own traditions, bro. It's a strange thing. Very strange thing to watch.
Bro, Addoink. Because we're not finished with the mocking of marriage, right? Have you heard of Marriage at First Sight?
I've heard of it, but I can't.
Married at First Sight. Let's see what it actually is. Married at First Sight. Let's go to description, please, Addoink. And so people can actually see now, not the video yet, the description of it. So people can actually see what the description of it actually is. You got it up on the screen, Addoink? Right. Married at First Sight is an Australian reality television adaptation of the Danish series of the same name.
Yeah.
The show features a group of strangers who participate in a social experiment.
Yeah.
So marriage is now a social experiment. A social experiment and are paired together by experts. Experts brought together for a social experiment. Legal restrictions in Australia mean that the couples do not partake in a legally binding marriage as prohibited by the Marriage Act in 1961. So it's not even real. The marriage, they've got a whole show with singles who are strangers, but they bring in experts, but the marriage ain't even real because it's not even recognized under the law. Rather, contestants engage in an unofficial commitment ceremony. The series first premiered on the 18th of May, 2015 on the 9 network. The show has had 9 seasons.
So it's 9 seasons.
It's on its 9th season.
So people are viewing.
People are watching the show. They're watching a show. Thanks, Addoink, man. They're watching a show where strangers come together and see if they can get married at first sight. The institution is a joke. People are seeing marriage as a joke. We're talking about the family structure.
But don't you think that's the goal?
Of what?
I don't want to get into but don't you think that's the goal? To mock marriage? To break down the...
What? The higher ups, as people like to call it.
Well, I mean, didn't you say something about social experiment? Right.
That's what they say it is, a social experiment.
Now, if we've got any... sociology majors in the out of the 100 and whatever people are watching, text up and tell us what a social experiment is and the reason for it.
What is a social experiment for?
What is it for? I mean, I know, but I would let's get the chat interactive with it.
Right.
Since no one's really got no heart to call up today.
Oh, Alazodua Ife Life just gave us £20. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's good. That's
I appreciate it.
Salute to you.
So you're saying the higher ups are basically trying to break down?
I'm saying
the family structure.
I don't even try and get with their name. Like whoever's behind the curtain, is put money into having these shows, which are social experiments.
Right.
And we. If you can just find out what a social experiment is, then that's where we hit the nail on the head, right? What is a social experiment? And what are they used for?
Okay. Addoink, we got some callers.
Yeah, we've got one person coming in now. African Empress, you spoke about.
Okay, African Empress. Come on in. You're going to have to turn your camera on, though.
Oh.
You're going to have to turn your camera on, please. Otherwise, we're going to lock you off.
It's a lock me off day, then I'll have to call back in.
All right, no problem. Bye.
Love.
Anybody else?
That's it for now.
No one else? Okay, no problem. The reason why, and I'll let people know the reason why we need to see your face is because the trolls exist on the internet and they just do all kinds of stupidness. So we need to put a face. Should there be a case? Right?
Yep.
We need to put a face. Should there be a case?
Right. And blame the trolls. Blame the trolls. It's not us.
It's the trolls' fault.
We'd love to hear Empress's thoughts. but these trolls have got to be spotted. So
that's right, because we can't just allow any randomers on the show, man. They will spoil the integrity of the show. So, yeah. So
love to hear from you next time, though, Empress.
So marriage, in my personal point of view, it's being mocked.
Yeah,
it's being. What's up, Addoink?
Can I just say something?
Yeah, go for it, bro.
Are you basing your view off of that show? Because that's just a show. It's not real life. There are thousands and thousands of marriages that work. So to say that it's a reality show, that's based off what you see.
Yeah,
it's not facts.
But how do you get to a show?
You find people who want to participate.
No, because you have to have viewership, right?
Yeah, but obviously people are going to watch that.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So people are going to watch it because they know marriage is a joke.
No, people are going to watch it because it's entertainment.
Right. No problem.
That's my point. Marriage is entertainment.
Let me take over from that. Right. Remember what I said about the Muslims, Addoink?
Yeah.
They wouldn't let you do no reality TV show on Ramadan. So where's all our married couples saying you are making a mockery
of marriage?
True, but are they going to give them a voice? Are they going to allow them to?
Muslims wouldn't need a voice. They'd be outside your studio.
Yeah.
And they'd be at the people who was making a mockery. They'd be at their door. They'd be at their workplace. Yeah. They're not playing with Ramadan. And I'm saying that people that value marriage and the tradition of marriage, should take it just as passionately as Sa is saying when people are making a mockery of the hard work you put into your marriage and calling it marriage.
Yeah.
Call it something else then. Don't call it my thing, which I'm putting my blood, sweat and tears into. My wedding was beautiful. All my loved ones were there. It was a real thing. And you're saying you're doing the same thing as me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that.
So what happens now with marriage, is that because it's become a joke, let's say, in my personal point of view.
They're trying to make a joke. That's what the experiment's about. They're making a joke.
Now, marriages break down. We spoke about this last time.
Yeah.
50% in America, 50% of marriages end in divorce. I think in the UK it's 42%. In America, up to 80% of women are the ones that are initiating the divorces. In the UK, I think it's like 62%.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Divorce. I want to talk divorce. Because I feel like one of the greatest breakdowns for the family structure is divorce. There's been a new divorce law that's coming. Have you heard about it? The no-fault divorce law.
No, school me.
So the no-fault divorce law basically states that you don't have to now give a reason for a divorce. Because they had reasons. They had cheating, fundamental differences. They had like a whole list.
So basically, this is a give-up law.
Yeah, if you want to give up,
tap out.
It's a tap out.
Yeah.
It's a tap out.
Yeah.
Addoink, let's see what it says about divorce law. Put that up on the screen. Please, my boy, my friend. Yeah, is that divorce laws have been overhauled for the first time in 50 years, putting an end to the blame game. That's what it says. It's from Sky News. For couples wishing to split amicably, married couples will be able to start divorce proceedings without having to apportion the blame for the breakdown of their marriage as a no-fault divorce. This legislation comes into force in England and Wales. The change has been welcomed by experts who said it will aid couples.
So can I just stop you there? You know what I love the most when they write? They always say experts.
Yes. Yeah.
What's an expert? I need a name. I need a qualification. But please continue.
Move forward and secure the best outcomes, eliminating unnecessary conflict and tension. So, scenario. This is the no-fault divorce law, yeah? This is a scenario. You walk in your house. Your wife says, I want to get a divorce. You say, why? She says, I want to get a divorce just because. When you're talking about it from a legal standpoint and you sit down on paper, why did you get divorced? Marcus Loveless said he wanted a divorce. Why? Marcus Loveless said he wanted a divorce. It removes. Let me read the next slide, please, Addoink, on that. So this happened from the 6th of April. This new legislation came in. He says, from the 6th of April, the new legislation replaces the 5 grounds that allows couple to divorce without assigning fault, right? Removes the responsibility of contesting the divorce, introduces an option for joint application, makes sure language is plain English, for example, changing decree NISI to conditional order and decree absolute to final order. It removes the responsibility of contesting the divorce. Thank you, Addoink. You can't ever contest your divorce.
Yeah, well,
your husband, your wife says, why you divorcing me? You can't ever contest it.
I think I've got 2 pointers on this. Like, first and foremost, whoever made this law, I'd love to, or whoever sat down as a group of people who made this law, I'd love to know their names. Secondly, marriage is done in the Western world.
You think?
Is that, well, this law said it's done. It's not my opinion, is it? This just said it's done. Like, I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm saying,
I'm done.
No, I'm saying, like, it was a good night last night. Everything, champagne, lovely night that we had. Yeah, me and the chick. She's like, it's done. Sorry. They don't care about my mental health, what that will do, how that will impact me.
No.
Not bothered about that. This is about her freedom to do so, right? And then let's just say if this worked in the man's favor, like, men would be marrying chicks and then just dumping them. Again, all of this, I'm never interested in the gas.
Right.
Like this law that's been now passed.
Right.
Like, I'm not interested in the gas. All I'm interested in is the results. And all this is going to do is clearly drag people away from marriage.
Right.
So there is somebody behind the curtain that is clearly like, we got to turn these lot off marriage. Off unity.
For what purpose?
Bro, I'm not behind the curtain. All I know is the effect is to make sure you lot are not digging marriage. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a problem solver. I like to believe I'm a problem solver. Yeah, and that's a problem, bro. When you give people the freedom to just say, not feeling it today. What, the big wedding? And in front of my mum, and in front of my dad, and in front of my family. You're just not feeling it. Nah, I'm feeling like that's over. Because
why?
I don't know. You linked a doorman last night at the bar you was at with your girls, and he's tickled your fancy. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's done, and she don't need to give me no reason.
No reason.
You just said
you can't contest it. You can't contest it.
Right. And how does that work? Look, bro, that's what I'm saying. What group of people sat down and made this law a law? Like, I would like to know who they are. Yeah, their names. Because what was their thinking in doing that?
What was the motivation behind it?
Please, like, explain to me, like, when there was a group of you sitting around a table and you thought, like, you know what would be a good idea, fam? When you done the thing, no questions, dog. No questions. You just done the thing. Like, bro, when you sat around the table, is that what you lot came up with? That's the law we need to do. You know, responsibility. Allow it. Forget responsibility, bro. That's what they thought. Like, just allow responsibility, bro. I think you don't need responsibility in a marriage. Why should you be locked down? I don't know, fam. I thought that's what marriage was.
It's a contract that says, I'm with you, you're with me for the rest of our lives.
Forever. In the eyes of, I know you said they don't do the Christian thing no more, but the real marriage is in the eyes of God and in the eyes of the witnesses, which would be your family and her family. Now we're turning around and saying, tomorrow, done that dance.
But remember last week on our show, I said about proposing a new structure for relationships.
Of course you need to propose a new structure, but again, step by step, we need villages first.
So if people remembered or didn't, or they tuned in or didn't, my new structure for relationships is that relationships have a 3-year contract. Yeah, you have a 3-year contract. You both sign, you both stipulate what you want out of the relationship, and what actually dissolves a contract.
Yeah.
You have that relationship for the 3 years, and at the end of it, you decide whether or not you renew your relationship. And you do that every 3 years.
But you know what?
Until you die. Because the only reason why I'm giving that option is not because I don't believe in marriage.
Yeah.
It's not because I don't believe in marriage.
Yeah.
It's because what I can see is that marriage ain't working.
Western marriage.
Right. And so the only thing is to try and give someone another option to keep a family structure together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because this model that we're working with ain't working, showing that it ain't working, because people are becoming more about themselves and more, I guess they're more selfish.
And it wasn't for the show, right? It wasn't 2 pointers. It wasn't for the show, but I've been touching on what you said from the last show. Yeah. And one of our guys, he put in the comments on the Instagram, he put where the children fitting in that structure. Yeah, I thought that was an excellent question.
That's part of the contract.
A really, really good question. But at the same time, sometimes we overlook what is in front of our eyes when we ask questions. Yeah, people are dumping utes regardlessly.
Right.
Yeah, regardless. They're dumping utes anyway. Yeah. So to have a review of your relationship after a period of time, to me, seems like the next best thing out here. Right. I think the things that we
review everything else.
I think the things
you review and renew your car insurance.
And I think
your home insurance.
I think we should look at, as you said last week, I think we should start to look at relationships when they get to that level. Right, we're so serious about each other. Let's go into business for life, full time. But we're gonna, like any other business, good business. First, let's start off with a 3-year contract.
Right. And then we review it. And then renew it.
Right? And do you know what? I tell you something now. You're going to weed out the women that want to be with you and the women that don't want to be with
100%.
you. When you say, after 3 years, you leave with what you had and I leave with what I had. Nobody takes. It doesn't matter what you earn together in that 3 years. You leave with what you got. I leave with what I got. Whatever I gave you in that 3 years, that's what you keep.
Right.
Whatever
if we make children in that 3 years, we've decided within the contract how we're even going to split the children between us if we do dissolve this contract.
Bro, before you even sign the beginning of the first 3-year contract, it's already laid out.
Yeah, it's already stipulated.
It's already stipulated. There's no, let's go to, let some, respectfully, let some judge that's not even of your culture try and reason your situation. It's already stated. You've already signed that I'm going to, if there's no abuse, physical abuse in the relationship, I will get my children once every weekend or da-da-da-da. There's no argument there. You already signed the paperwork. You see, what we're doing now, is we're using old rules mixed with some kind of new wave of Babylonian energy.
Right.
Yeah. And we're mixing them all together around in a pot and we're going, this is marriage. This is what I say. A lot of people, run off to Vegas to go and get married, and be like, "Yeah, it was romantic." But do you know what it is? There's an interest. You know when you just put up that statistic, and what did the person say? Social experiment.
Social experiment. Yeah.
Right. Do you know what's another social experiment? Is film. Because when film started showing people running away to Vegas to get married,
right?
The rates of normal everyday people running away to Vegas went up.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So music, film, just entertainment on a whole, is very influential to the mindset of people. So when we're seeing reality TV, just like Addoink wanted to bring to the conversation, like he was supporting the marriage. But when it comes to reality TV, this breeds something within people.
Right.
Like, you know what it is? Even though it's reality TV, I don't care. I'm going to marry a guy in my real life and then dump him. You know what I mean? They really feel that they can follow through with that. It's the same person as, like, I don't like to say names, but it's the same thing as girls copying Kim Kardashian and thinking that the same results you're going to get is how she dealt with
Kanye West, yeah.
You think that's going to happen, right? But instead you've got a black guy knocking and smashing your windows and coming into your yard.
Addoink, sorry, bro. I just saw some comments, please.
Yeah, let's start with this first one here from Carissa Abraham. She's saying the contract should be void when the children are involved.
The contract should be void where the children are involved.
Is this a female?
Yeah.
Female, yeah.
Mrs. Abraham, what would the new stipulations be now that the children are involved?
See, that would be, like I said, the contract would have to have the stipulations in it.
Already, prior to
you even getting in the relationship.
But I want to ask Miss Abraham, like, what would, of her personal view, because you see when we're building something, I would love to hear what women think. What do they think? Because it's an emotional thing, isn't it? Now they're saying children have been born now. We've got to change the contract.
No. The contract is a contract.
Yeah, but I'm saying, why, when the children have already been stated into the contract?
In the contract, prior.
So I'm asking her, what would her rules? What would the change? Like, what does she think needed to be changed? I don't really understand. Like
I said, that contract. And I know it sounds out there to people because people aren't used to that type of.
But they're used to it with jobs.
They're used to what?
Everyone does. Remember what you said? 3 years, right? And everyone, when you get a job, you do your 3-month what?
Probation.
Right. And you're used to it then, right? You're used to understanding.
But that's what I'm saying. And the only reason why, and I know people think that it's
Big bro, calling in.
Oh my God.
21
Big bro, listen, sorry, we're gonna cut that. We're gonna get Big Bro in, man.
Salute.
Big Bro, come on in.
Immediately.
Yo!
Peace.
Oh, the family's back together now.
Yeah.
Damn.
What's going on, Big Bro? Come on, talk to us.
Not much, just listening into the show, trying to get better. As you can see, I'm still sweating, so that's not good.
Yeah.
But I was just listening to the show, interesting show. See if I got the strength to put in one or two views on the show that I've seen so far, if that's okay. And as I said,
course,
I apologize on behalf to both of you in advance, primarily because I'm not really a fan of quote unquote popular culture. As you know, I'm more interested in politics and where politics lead us. But let me just mention a couple of things that I've heard saying, because obviously we're speaking about Western civilization and destruction of families. And I would say that there's a couple of things that we have missed, because as far as I'm concerned, this destruction of the family, this literal concentration on the destruction of the family has been happening since the mid-60s. And essentially what has happened is that there are a group of people in this world, and their job is to deconstruct the world as we know it and to reconstruct the world in their image and in their likeness. And so you will find that anything that is said, as Marcus said earlier, you will have a slew of unnamed experts who come out and they will say that the experts support A, the experts support B, and the experts support C. When in fact, what's happening, it's part of that, without wishing to sound like a conspiracy theorist, it's part of that same agenda to deconstruct the family. So whatever is normal, even say 15 years ago, today it's abnormal. And so you can have a group of people, for example, look, there's always been transvestites. There's always been people who have seemed a little odd outside of what we call the norms. And essentially, what has happened is that they've now been brought to the forefront. We're now speaking about teaching 4- and 5-year-olds in school about sexual acts, things that if you were walking with your child on the street and somebody, you know, an old man or woman, it's mostly women now who control the schooling system. If they were to go up to them and start speaking explicitly to sex about them, I'm quite certain that we would take a different position on how we would deal with that. But it's not just the destruction of marriage, but that's part of it. It's not just the destruction of the school system, but that's part of it. It's not just the disrespect of men that we see in society now, whether it's in the media, whether it's in TV, that's part of it. It's not just the nihilistic music and the messages that it sends, but that's part of it. It's not just the destruction of primarily boys in school being destroyed. That's just part of it. Because you see, the people who are leading this deconstruction are not normal in the sense that we saw normality once upon a time. And of course, this has trickled down to both men and women, to be fair. It's not just women. But as you and I speak many times, both Marcus and Sarah, you know, we coined the phrase that you're the head of security for yourself. And
that's right.
A woman is the head of security for herself. You cannot sleep with a woman unless that woman allows you to, unless you're a rapist, and then that's a criminal offense, and then you should go to prison for a very long time. And what's happening with many women is that they're outsourcing their own responsibility towards others. And, you know, if you then point that up, you will then have a slew of women who come online, and then they will give you anecdotal statements and so-called evidences. And that's fine. You can do that. I'm speaking generally. You can't have a situation in this generation and the last generation and the one before that, and the same mistakes are being made. The same. Let me tell you, I am no saint. Please don't. I am not any saint. And I've taken decisions, many that I wish I hadn't taken. But essentially, there is a war going on, and the war is for your mental health. And one of the ways in which you protect your mental health is not getting involved in dialogue or foolishness that you know will harm you. Yeah, it's an irresponsible.
What do you mean by that, big bro? What do you mean by that?
Well, I can tell you. For example, we're speaking about stepchildren. That's a zero-sum game. I've no doubt there are some great stepfathers out there, but it's a zero-sum game. It's not a game that you will win. It's an eggshell existence. And you see, many of the women who would want you now as a stepfather, prior to them having the children, they wouldn't have looked at you in the first place, because obviously you didn't fit to their quasi-dangerous view of the world that many of these women have, and they want to get these quote-unquote exciting guys to have children with. And of course, it's a generalization and it's not specific. But the point that I'm making is that, and it goes back again to how we view the world and what we are responsible for. So in as much the same way that I can say that I am not perfect, this system has pushed many of us into a position which many would have said at the time is untenable. Now, look, it's not an assumption that women ask for divorce more than men. These are statements of facts. And, you know, many people use statistics, for example, from blackdemographics.com, but you can also go on to uk.gov over here and get statistics concerning black people. And the truth is, if you look again in this country, around about 67, we were married at a rate what was comparable to anyone. I know in America in 65, black people were the most married group in that country, and then something happened. And what happened? Well, this is right, and it's a good question. What we need to ask and what we need to say is what happened. Well, there was a monumental shift in how we viewed marriage, how we viewed women. Even when we were growing up, you kind of looked at women with some kind of reverence, and now that reverence is gone. You know, unfortunately, it's true. It's gone. Where there was you speak about women with a particular cadence, and now you look at women, many of them, and they hate when we say it, but if something is said multiple times, you kind of get the feeling that it may well be true. But nobody wants to be in an environment where there is not peace. Nobody wants to be in an environment where the man is disrespected. No one wants to be in an environment where you think, my God, you know, this is now harming my mental health, being amongst this woman. I've got to get out. Doesn't mean that you don't love your kids, but your kids now are weapons. You know, the women are the guns and the children are the bullets.
So, big bro, to cut you, with all that you said, what do you now think would be the new family structure that we need to hear?
We're looking at it wrong. We're looking at it wrong. It's got nothing to do. The family structure, as it was previously, worked for millennia. It really did. And
so we don't need a new one.
But hold on a minute. Hold on. when you say a new one, it's as if we want to break down the entire system and start again. I don't think.
But the system's already broken.
Well, but hold on a minute. Well, there are 50% of people that are still, that when they get married, they stay married. Of course, there's 50% that's unsustainable because of the damage that it causes children. But what I would say is that there does need to be a battle. But the battle needs to be against those people who have put themselves in position of quasi-power within this society. You see them in the news, you see them in politics, you see them in sport. All of these medias where this message is pumped out, those are the people that should be attacked. And when I say attacked, I mean attacked, viciously, because what it is, they have the strength to attack you because they know that you're weak. But nobody has decided that, look, we're going to go against them. We're going to go against everything that they stand for and most of what they believe in, because we know intrinsically that what they believe in has destroyed this society.
Remember, big bro, when you go against what they believe in, they label you they cancel you. They give you names like any kind of phobe that they decide to call you, they cancel you, and they're the ones in power.
So let me finish on asking Big Bro. Big Bro, do you think
we can't hear Big Bro? You know, we can't hear Big Bro anymore. Oh, we hear him now.
Big Bro, do you think it's a level of? I know it sounds extreme, but do you think it's a level of segregation?
Well. I mean, I hadn't thought about that, but I've just finished reading the book on one of the first black schools in America called Dunbar, and one of the things that they lamented when I was reading this book, one of the things that they were lamenting, if you know anything about Dunbar was a school of absolute excellence in America at a time when black people couldn't go to school at all, and there were groups who were literally attempting to kill you on a daily basis. And I would say that when I read that book, there was a statement by an alumni of Dunbar, and he lamented the fact after it was called I forgot the name of the bill, but when the bill came through, and then obviously the police and soldiers had to enforce that. Even when they were enforced, it still took another 15, 20 years. And what you then found was an inexorable decline of Dunbar School, because you then had integration, and not just integration, because obviously it was an all black school, and it was a school of excellence. But then what happened? You started bringing in other black people from different backgrounds who didn't really care so much about education, and they did that in order to take away the exclusivity of the school. And it was funny that the alumni, let me just make this point, it was funny that the alumni from Dunbar, one of the things he lamented was the end of segregation, because that destroyed a school of excellence. Now, I'm not saying that we should have segregation today. That's not practical in any sense whatsoever. But we do have a right to look at, from our own perspective, and look at education and say, how can we take back education and make education what it should be in order to benefit us? Because let me tell you this, I have a Jewish business partner, and they have their own schools, and this is true. Nobody accuses them of racism, segregation, or segregation. They don't do it, and there are many people who do this. But the problem for us is that we're called black, and of course that takes in a whole slew of different people instead of saying who we really are in terms of our own tribes.
Big bro.
10 out of 10 as always.
You should see the comments. People are saying you're dropping facts.
10 out of 10.
No, they're loving what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm going to pay for this tonight, though, because I feel shattered already. Can I just mention one last thing that you mentioned? Of course. It was regarding the new laws that actually came out today, and it moved into the legislature today. And I would send out a message, and this is not something that I would ordinarily do, but I would send out a message, and I would say to any man who was considering getting married not to. It's now a fool's choice. it's a false errand. And essentially, you have to become stronger, as males, and women are going to have to become more practical, because essentially, and I've always said this, that marriage is a business contract. I know you go into it with emotion, but it's as business a contract as any contract that I've ever signed in my life. And the one thing that you don't do in business, you do not sign a contract based on emotion. Well, why are you going to sign this contract, big bro? Man, I just feel good about it. Look, you're not a businessman. You may say you are, you're not. I need facts, I need figures, I need empirical evidence regarding this business. There's a slew of things that I've got to look at. And many people who go into marriage, especially in what we call the lower sector of society, they go into marriage with aims, goals, and ambitions which are not of yesterday. They're not of yesterday. So, of course, as Marcus said earlier, the day is important. The dress is important.
Right, exactly.
All of these superfluous things are important. But let me tell you, today is the death of marriage. And I will tell you why in 30 seconds flat. Because you can go to work this morning, and your relationship, you think, with your wife is pretty much okay. I mean, there's always ups and downs, and there's a whole slew of things that are wrong in marriages, but it's about fighting through. And you then come home and you put your key in the door and you can't get in. You think, hold on, there's a mistake here. And then she then appears at the window upstairs.
No fault divorce.
And you say, darling, what's up? Oh, we're getting divorced. Well, what? Why? Well, I don't need to give you a reason why. Man,
so we're just saying.
Goes up and starts banging the door. He then calls the local police. The police come around, they'll arrest you. You cannot gamble. You cannot gamble your life away based on emotion. Yeah, it would be better. It would be better if you're going to have that child. If you're going to have that child, you look after the child. Yes, you should, if it's possible. But where marriage is concerned, it's a fool's errand. And I would say now, don't do it. That's how you fight back against the system in the first instance. It's not practical.
But then, big bro, sorry to cut you, but then, big bro, isn't the system telling you, or like Marcus was saying, the system is now designed to take you away from marriage, and you're also now saying, don't get married. So you're now part of the system.
Well, no, not at all. And I'll tell you the reason why. The fact that you choose not to get married means that you're not part of the system. Yeah, in as much, because what you're not going to do, you're not going to put yourself in a position. Yeah, you refuse to put yourself in a permission whereby your emotions can be manipulated. Oh, come on, darling, let me just give you a hug. And I was talking about my friend getting married, and they hit you when you're down, hit you when you feel weak. Yeah, you're just about to get into bed.
Sounds like Big Bro's heard this before,
Obviously, at that point, yeah, you practically say yes to anything, and then you find yourself in a position. No, I think that you've got to be very careful. Many women will say that they want a traditional man when in fact they are not traditional women. Yeah, and that's the truth. And let me tell you, that is not to say that this is what all women are. Clearly, that is not the case. But if you have £1,000 on you, and I say to you, look, I want you to put this bed on, and with your missus, and you put the whole £1,000 on, that's your life savings. And from the get-go, oh God, there's an 80% chance that I lose. So that's £800 of your money. Are you going to put that bet on? Of course you're not. Yeah, you'll wait until you get more favorable odds. And when you get more favorable odds, then you may well then take the chance. But as I said to you, there were some beautiful, wonderful, loyal, caring women out there. And the only thing I'd say before I end, if you know where any are, if you can point them towards my direction, I'll be quite happy. I've got to go. Peace out. Yeah.
Big bro.
Salute.
Big bro. Thank you for that.
Oh wow.
Johnny,
hello.
Hi, how are you? I don't know if I want to stay after that. After you guys talking to Big Bro.
Stay.
We want to hear what you got to say.
Let's just say thank you for your patience, though.
Oh no,
thank you
worries.
very
I'm
much
working
for your
from home
patience.
here. I'm calling from America. I'm calling from US, so I love you guys.
What part of the US you calling from?
New Jersey, but I'm originally from New York.
Jersey. Joe Budden's town. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speak to us. What is it that you wanted to say?
When you guys were touching on the men that are not loved, I don't believe that. I believe men are loved, but they have to earn their love.
What do you mean earn it? What do you mean earn it?
Don't men earn their love by being men?
No, like you can't in a relationship. Let's just talk about the only love that's giving is between a mother and a child, because I had a child, so you love that unconditionally. But men, when you say men are not loved, I don't believe that. I believe love is supposed to be earned. You know, you just don't give your love away.
Don't you think? Sorry, Marcus. Don't you think men have earned their love by building the society in which we live in?
I don't. I think we're on two different terms. I'm talking about like maybe relationship wise. When you say men,
go for it. No problem. So a guy comes into your life, he's been a gentleman. He's still dealing with chivalry. He still tries to help you out in life generally. And what more? If you look at him as being well raised, what more does he have to show you to earn love?
Oh no, okay, then he's loved. But I just thought like you were like, oh, I believe like in my family, my father was loved, but my father always used to tell me that men have to earn their love. You just don't give it out. Just like with sex, women shouldn't just be giving it out willy-nilly. You have to be, it has to be earned. I think I'm not like coming across.
Do you think, are you saying that love in general needs to be earned, not just when it comes to men? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, when it comes to relationships, yes.
What do you think that women need to do to earn a man's love?
To fulfill her in the relationship, to be kind, to be sweet, to be supportive, to like how my mother was. Like, I mean, I have a temper though, but still, to do all of that.
Exactly. Would you say a woman having a temper is a feminine trait?
I would say no, but kind of yes. My mom had a temper, but she was very feminine. I'm talking about like I catch myself yelling, and I don't like to yell. I feel bad after I yell, but it's about me controlling my emotions and about me maturing. So I would say
I love that. Yeah.
So when you say you have a temper, how does that work in a relationship? Does your partner now say, okay, cool, I'm going to allow her to shout at me or have her temper, etc., etc.? Or does he, say, you know what, you need to check that?
Yeah, I think, he should tell me that I need to check that and then don't take it. Like it's either, he could stay or not stay, but it's up for me to change, not for him to change me. I come from the school of I don't own nobody, like, and he doesn't own me. So yeah, I got to grow as a person. I got to deal with it myself. Meaning like, I'm a type of person, like I'm more like my mother than every day. I don't like, let's just be real. Let's not lie to each other. Like if it's going to be an open relationship, whatever, let's just take it on the table and do what we have to do. But when I find out that I'm being deceived, it just brings out kind of like a bad taste in my mouth.
Do you take self accountability for being deceived?
Oh, you got to elaborate on that. Like,
okay, do you know what a red flag is?
Yes, and when I was younger, I thought about red flag. I didn't even. I think you have to teach your children about red flags. They're not going to know off the rip what a red flag is. They're not going to know a lot of things. My mom didn't teach me about relationships. My dad was more like he taught us about relationships and sometimes I ignore what my dad was saying because I'm like, oh, he don't know what he's talking about, whatever. But come to find out, he knew everything that he was talking about. Like he knew. But yes, red flags are markers that you should pay attention to.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Like, when your mom raised you, like, your mom and dad were together, yeah?
Yes, and then they divorced, but they remained really good friends.
What age group were you?
When my parents divorced?
Yeah.
I was 10.
Okay, so how much do you remember of like their togetherness at 10?
I remember, yeah. I remember my childhood, yeah.
Not a single child, clearly not.
No, I'm the youngest, to tell you the truth.
Youngest of how many, may I ask?
Oh, come on. My parents had 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls. I'm the youngest.
Oh wow, like they did snap twice. Okay, cool. You see, the thing which I'm trying to get at, yeah, is when I asked you about red flags, right? Is because tempers are normally made because people don't see red flags, and then they ignore some stuff, and then this kind of energy builds up inside you, which makes you turn around and feel like high volumes of anger because you're letting things go rather than dealing with them as they come. So you're ignoring red flags. That's what builds up to a temper. Like people, unless you're schizophrenic, people don't just have a temper. It's because they let things go, and then one day it could just be like your guy comes in and he literally just didn't shut or he didn't put down the toilet seat, and there goes the temper. But you've been letting that build up. There's no such thing as a temper, especially not coming from a woman. I don't mean to be disrespectful in any way, yeah, but I've never seen a woman with a temper. But I know what you're talking about when you say you've had a temper. I don't mean to laugh, but what I'm trying to say is like women with a temper to me is kind of like a woman saying she's mad at me. If my missus says she's mad at me and she's got, and she's got a little temper on her, I think it's kind of cute to a certain extent.
What?
I don't agree with it. Yeah. What? No,
bro.
No. Hear what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying. You see that temper, yeah, that she's got, yeah? I don't acknowledge it as like her being like, she thinks she's being super aggressive towards me.
Right.
But nah, I don't take it that. Like like if your woman starts shouting at you,
yeah,
what would be your initial reaction? She's gone off.
Don't talk to me like that, right?
Yeah.
If we have an issue, we speak about it. You don't get to shout at me. It's like I don't get to shout at you.
Yeah, but a woman shouting at you, are you taking that seriously?
I'm taking it seriously as a disrespect. Yeah.
Right. So now
I don't take it as I don't think, oh my gosh, we're about to get into some kind of altercation that's going to hurt me.
Yeah, but her energy, like when women say I've got a temper, when the sister says she's got a temper, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask her, what do you mean by temper?
No, like yelling, but I don't even want to use my energy to yell like that. I don't like it.
Okay, so you've raised your voice, right? And by raising your voice, what is your motive by raising your voice? To let a man know what? Now, you're angry, and then what does that mean? You're angry, and then what's going to happen?
I'm angry for what the person, the situation that is, and I'm not happy about it.
Bro, all I'm saying to you, Marcus, is that whole a temper's cute.
No, I don't mean it. No, I don't mean it.
No, bro.
You see the way that Ja Rule said. 50 Cent said Ja Rule's cute.
Right, meaning he doesn't feel a threat.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
I don't mean it's cute as in I'm sexually turned on by her having a temper.
Right.
Yeah? What I'm saying is when women do this thing like, I'm so angry right now, I don't dismiss their upset, but don't try and be a guy.
Well, the thing is, I don't think they're trying to be, but I'm just saying, like, that threw me off, bro. I'm not gonna lie, that whole is cute. I was like, cute for who?
Yeah, Addoink, do you get what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yes, I hear.
Like a girl cannot get so. I do not take girls seriously
when they get upset.
When they get to the point of like,
it's like, oh, she's upset. Don't worry about it.
No, not like that. I mean, if a woman tells me to shut the F up, right?
You think that's cute?
I laugh because you don't really like. You can't impose what you're saying.
What you're really feeling.
Yeah, you're not going to make me shut up, are you?
Right.
So the fact that you think you can, because maybe you've watched a couple soul food movies or you've been listening to too much Mary J. Blige tonight, yeah?
Right.
You're feeling that energy. So you're like, I don't know, you watched the Beyonce video where you thought she walked off at the end and she said F the up and she jumped into a Bentley and drove off and that was the end of the music video. Maybe you're feeling that energy and you come to me with that. But I'm the type of man, I will laugh, bro. Like, it's kind of...
Let's get the sister to wrap up. So, is there anything you want to say? Because we want to see if we can get anybody else in.
No, I just think that I stand on love need to be earned, not just given away. Like that's it.
Sorry, sis. Lastly, can I ask you a funny question? Do you talk to Kevin Samuels, or do you listen to Kevin Samuels?
I listen to him, but not a lot. But I listen to him. Yeah.
And again, like, has your temper ever become a hindrance in your life, like relationship wise?
You mean where a person just leaves me because of my temper?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you're all right then.
Okay. So it's cute.
No.
Do you get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying?
There's levels. There's levels.
I didn't mean cute as in violence.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, then. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll speak later. All right. Listen, you pre up
I know you.
Boy, what does it mean?
You know he's a doink. He's stuck on thinking when I say cute, it's sexy.
Yeah.
A girl.
He's taking the word literally.
Yeah. He literally thinks I mean cute as in it's nice when a girl does it.
Yeah.
When what I'm saying to you, is I cannot take seriously a woman's threats of like, it's almost like a woman telling me she's road, bro. Yeah, and if she has,
there are road women out there.
But
there's some road women out there.
Do you go out with them?
No.
Right. So if you don't go out with them and the girl's trying to act like she's road, you don't go out with them, right?
No.
So if that girl that you're going out with then tries to act road, would you not think she's trying to be cute, bro? She's trying to be cute.
That's not my thinking. I hear what you're talking about, but that's not the way I process the information.
Yeah, you'd be like, it's disrespect.
Disrespect to just move out my way. Yeah, I don't want to hear no.
Do you remember on the last?
You both got two different.
No. Do you remember on the last show? Yeah, where I said my brother only deals in logic. Do you remember? Like he went shout at me.
Are you mad?
Raise your voice.
Wait, nah,
are you mad? That's disrespect.
Yeah. You're gone.
Do you get it?
Yeah,
but I'll go, look at her. She thinks she can bark on man.
Yeah.
It's cute. Like, do you get what I mean?
Like, I'm not threatened by you.
Right.
It looks good. It looks good. And maybe it's from an R&B video that you've been infused by. But with me, that's not going to work.
I hear that. I hear both points.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. You can't defeat logic.
Yeah.
That's why I have to justify myself to him because he's like, he comes.
But if you got your view, you got your view, bro.
Because you hit me with the logic and be like, nah, bro.
If you got your view, you got your view, man.
And it is disrespect. Don't get it twisted. It is disrespect. But I'm just saying, innit? Like, to me, I can't look at them as a threat, bro.
Listen, Marcus, let's round up, right? So the question was, why are Western families breaking down? That was a question. We went through marriage, divorce, single motherhood, Big Bro came on, gave his take,
I've got to give a big shout out to the sister who came on from the States.
Yeah, shout out to everyone that phoned in.
Shout out to New Jersey.
Shout out to everyone that actually donated. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everyone that commented. What is the next step for families?
I'll try and keep it brief.
You don't have to, but
Big Bro was like talking about, like segregation. Segregation is not really the way, and I agree with him on that, But I don't think, like, I would never put it down to race. And I know they've tried to make us look at it like classism is a wrong thing, but for me, I don't want to be around people that don't value marriage, innit? Yeah? I don't want to be around people that don't value having children.
Right.
Or their children. Or their children's schooling.
Right.
Or litter on the floor. Or caring about...
I get you.
You get what I'm saying? So I would... The only thing I would say is segregation. If I don't want to be around respectfully to him and his family because he's raising his own family and I've got no opinion, negative or positive on Dwayne Wade, When
you say segregation, you're not talking about race segregation.
No, I'm not talking about
race.
You're
talking about segregating yourself from
I'm saying if
people who are...
If there are a couple Europeans that think like me, that don't want their son to have the freedom to wear a dress because they want to explain to him he's a boy and want to help him work through it, yeah, and they think like me, cool. If there's another group of people that want their sons to wear dresses, cool, but do it over there.
Right.
And not at the school that my son
children go to. Yeah.
But I don't hate them.
Right.
And I don't want...
You're just saying, you can do what you want, but just do it.
Yeah, don't come into my bit and go, you know what you need to do over here?
Right, yeah.
You need to give your son the right to wear a skirt.
Right.
Fam, I'm not coming in your household.
Telling you what to do.
Yeah, don't come in mine. And when I mean segregation, I never mean based on race, religion, anything. I mean like segregation from time we all think alike. Yeah, this is our manner. This is our ends, and the rest of them go and do what you want to do. I'm happy for you, lot. Just do it over there, innit?
Right. We can probably take one more caller.
Yeah, he's disappeared. He was waiting, but if he wants to call in now, he can.
Oh, okay, yeah. Anyone else that wants to click the link, StreamYard link, click it. It's right there in the live chat. Excuse me. We've got 103 people in watching. I'm sure someone wants to say something. One of you people want to say something on camera. Anyone can comment, guys. Anyone can comment, but can you articulate yourself on camera? As a matter of fact, Addoink, let's read out some comments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Verbalize your reasoning, innit?
Okay, what do you guys think of this one right here? It's from Dragon of the West again. It's quite interesting. He's talking about Big Bro. He says, Big Bro, why ain't there transvestites in tribal societies?
Why aren't they
transvestites? How do you know that? Is he tribal? What tribe does he come from? I'm not saying there is. I'm saying, how does he know in every single tribe there isn't? Because there's a lot of gay behavior in samurai culture. And a lot of people don't know that. So how would he know that there's no transvestites in all tribal cultures around the world? He must be very versed. And I like you, Dragon. Don't take it the wrong way. But I'm just saying, think about your question.
Got one from Thomas. Can't pronounce his second name. He says, hi, Sarah, Marcus, Big Bro, Addoink. What's your thoughts on the SYSBM? Save Yourself Black Men. What do you think about it?
I have no idea what they're talking about. If I'm totally honest, I don't know what
if it's anything to do with like a MGTOW thing, like men going the other way, save yourself, black men. No, dominate black men and make your own, like we've been talking about today.
Make your own rules and regulations.
Make your own rules and regulations. Dominate. Don't save yourself. This is all victim kind of talk. Like, we got to run away. We got to save ourselves. Men going the other way. It's always running away. We're men. We don't need to run. Build your own societies. Build your own understandings. We don't run.
Interesting. This one right here. You black men realize you are in the colonizer's land, and he has. Sorry, can't pronounce that. Try it.
We can't see it yet.
Oh, you can't see
Hang on, you black men realize you're in the colonizer's land and he has commodified you.
Sorry, couldn't see it.
Yeah, I agree.
You see, no. I mean, fair enough, this land isn't quote unquote ours.
Yeah.
Right? But the whole world has been commodified.
Yeah, okay, I agree. Again.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
So
it's not just.
So what is it? What is black men's role then to do then off of that?
Right. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like
we have been
if you're saying dominated. It's
so
like everyone's now dominated.
Yeah.
Everyone's now commodified. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, you're right to a degree.
Yeah.
But
now what?
Right.
But that's what I say with the MGTOW movement and this new one that I just heard. Black men, save yourselves and da. Like, there's no rubber raft. There's nowhere to go. You either counteract or you accept the rules to what did he say we were? Commodified. You either be commodified or you have a counteraction plan for being commodified. So I agree with him. But then what? After that?
And I think last one from Empress Zero.
No more baby makers. We need healthy families with two people agreeing upon that. See, I don't believe that families just have two people.
Do you know what I like about
necessarily?
Empress? You know that I like about Empress, yeah, is every time she writes a comment, yeah, she goes in on men like immediately. Like she just She just goes ham immediately.
She's allowed to.
And she's allowed to. And what I'm saying is to come on our platform and do that, I respect. Remember what I said earlier? I respect her bravery to do that. Because knowing that that's not our stance.
Yeah.
Right? Because no more baby makers. I'm saying majority of women that are accepting these baby makers have not been raped. The majority.
Yeah.
So it's optional.
Use the term grape. Because, you know, you get censored nowadays. Just use the term grape.
Grape.
People know it. People know, you know what we're talking about if you say grape.
Yeah.
YouTube will just start doing censoring stuff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, like.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on, continue.
No, I'm just saying the majority of women that don't eat grapes, yeah, yeah, it's optional. They like apples, isn't it? And that's what they got, like Eve, yeah? Since we want to get all deep on it, yeah? Like, that's what I mean. The majority of women accept these guys.
Right.
And they don't go deep enough to learn about the guy. They just like the guy. He's good looking. He's da-da-da-da-da-da. Don't
we both do that? Don't men and women both do that?
Both, yeah, both. I would accept that. I would accept that. Like men, like especially black men. Black men look at a lot of, and please, guys in the chat room, don't get so offended. It's just the facts are the facts. A lot of black men are dealing with colorism and self-hatred of their mothers coming from their families, and they just want their daughters to not look anything like their mothers. I know a lot of people are going to feel a way about that. It's just the truth.
I'm listening, bro. I'm here for the listening. Go on.
I don't. Do you get where I'm coming from with it?
Go for it. Break it down, man.
A lot of black men are dealing with self-hate and colorism because they don't want their own children looking like their mothers.
Because their own mothers don't give them, like, there's a basic...
As far as I know, black men love their mothers generally.
No, black men will fight if you diss their mothers.
But they don't want their children...
But on a 50-50 team,
looking at their mothers.
You will find that 50%, especially in the UK, roughly 50%, they will fight for their mothers, but they don't want their children that they breed with whoever, yeah, looking like their mothers.
Is that a problem?
Is that a problem?
I'm asking you, is that a problem?
It depends. If you look at your mum, like when I look at my mother, I'll be like, yeah, you know, like I want my mother to be able to see herself and her grandchildren. It's got nothing to do with me hating any other group or any other race. Like, I don't hate any other group of people based on race. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I want my mum to be able to see herself in a child. Like, and a lot of people turn around and go, well, maybe your mum shouldn't see color.
Well, that's just stupid. Everyone sees color.
Right.
Because you've got eyes.
Right. And that's what I find the most racist statement I've ever heard. You shouldn't see color. Yeah. But then the same person would cross the road if there was 5 of the man them walking down the street with their hoods on. Yeah. But they were coming from university. Do you get what I'm saying? Oh, you see color when you see danger.
You see color when you see danger.
Yeah.
But you don't see color otherwise.
No, you don't. No, you don't see color when you're trying to determine my racism. Do you get what I'm saying?
Go on.
Like, I want my daughter to look like my mum. Oh, so you couldn't fall in love with a Chinese person or a European person?
Well, of course you could have. It's up to you.
I could have, but I might want my grandchild to, or my daughter to look like my mum.
That's racist.
Or could it just be my culture? Could I not hate you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've studied for years and years on Asian culture, on European culture. There's a lot I like about European culture. There's a lot I like about Asian culture. There's some things I don't like in the way that they've interacted with my people. But I'm not going to knock their whole culture because we've had a couple bad interactions. Do you get what I'm saying? But when they try to dominate me and tell me that I should not carry on my lineage,
right,
based upon their feelings and their PC. Oh, you know, you can't help who you fall in love with. Yeah, you can. It's called discipline. You can help who you fall in love with. You can help if you buy a Rottweiler or you buy a poodle. You can You don't just walk in there and go, I want a dog.
I love dogs, yeah.
And I can't help it. You look, fam, if you were going there looking for a poodle, you're going to get a small dog. You're not going to walk out there with a Rottweiler.
Someone actually said just there, they said, bro, we are all humans, but just with different skin pigmentation.
Load of bollocks. Respectfully. Whoever said that, respectfully, what a load of bollocks. Yeah? There are people that come from different walks of life. Yeah? European people. You know, one thing I really appreciate about them is they keep their people's faces on their money. Yeah? They keep, even for better or for worse, they keep the jewels on the Queen's head. And they're proud of it. Yeah? Europeans will have World War I and World War II, right? And still be like, we're proud Europeans. Don't worry about that part.
Listen,
we're massacring each other.
Bro, you're talking to someone who has openly said multiple times, sitting in front of people like Tommy Robinson,
yeah,
I am for the forward betterment of black people up the social-economic ladder. Sure. I have no problem in black people forwarding themselves, just like I have no problem with Chinese, Arab, Jewish, white,
whoever forwarding yourself. As long as it's not on my back.
As long as it's not to the detriment of other
my people.
Yeah. I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it.
And I kind of get sick of people saying like Scottish people shouldn't want to carry on Scottish tradition, just fall in love with whoever you fall in love with. No, there's something to uphold. There's something that had a legacy, something that had greatness. Otherwise, we wouldn't have these people on the pound. There's pound sterling. You wouldn't have these people's faces if there wasn't a legacy they was upholding. And if you're proud of that legacy or you feel shamed by that legacy, either way, there is a legacy to uphold.
Right.
And I find it insulting when somebody says to me,
forget the legacy.
Worry about your legacy. And this is why people find it easy to believe in a mythical God, which they know nothing of, rather than believe in their ancestry. Because your ancestry is real.
It's concrete.
It's concrete, bro.
It's literally written in your
like
DNA.
You're not here if it weren't for your ancestors.
That's right.
But something in a book that told you A, B, and C about history, you can attach
Which
yourself.
Which is kind of mythical as well.
It's mythical. You can attach yourself to that anyway. That's why you got one group of Christians that say God did it this way. The other group of Christians say God did it that way. But in truth, with your own personal lineage, with your own ancestry, there's only one truth.
And that's the truth of the ancestry.
If you had an uncle who wasn't such a good person, the rest of your family will tell you, they'll pass it down. And if it was hidden in your family, a couple people will bring it out. And you know it to be the truth because we're the lineage of that group, right? But nowadays, people kind of ignore lineage and be like, oh, you know, they say, color doesn't matter, fall in love with who you want to fall in love with. And that's all well and good.
But the thing is, though, Marcus, I don't, the thing is me, I don't police who people fall in love with. And I don't police who people have sex with. If you want to have sex or fall in love with anybody else, then by all means, I'm not, that's got nothing, that doesn't affect me.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for anyone to fall in love with whoever they're fall in love with. But what I'm saying is, don't step across my side of the fence
and tell you who you should fall in love with.
And tell me about my clan and what we're doing. Right. And, oh, you're xenophobic. Or, you know, don't put a label on me for what I'm doing. And I won't put a label on you for what you're doing.
Right.
The second you step on my side of the grass and start telling me that because I want to keep up a Bantu heritage and a Bantu lineage, somehow I don't like other people.
I think people. Weird, I do think we're kind of going off because we're talking about family structure, but I think people do misrepresent somebody having a nationalist or a love for their people stance with hate for another people, and I think that is something that's unfortunate because of white nationalism. Excuse me, and quote unquote white power, etc., etc. Because that normally meant to the detriment of other people. So if you love white people, that means you hate black people. That means but it's not automatically that. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? But historically, it has been that. So when Hitler said he loves white people, blonde hair, blue eye, it was to the detriment of another people. When white Europeans said, oh, they love other white people, it was to the detriment of another people. Do you get what I'm saying? So unfortunately, we now view people's loving for their own people by default as hatred to another people. Yeah. Whereas I'm telling people, or you're telling people, we're telling people, you can actually love your peoples and not hate anybody else.
Yeah, but do you know what it is? I'm gonna say something which I'm I don't want European UK followers of Caucasian descent to think that I've got anything against them, but let's say there's a list of racism. Who's the best at it? Who's benefited the most off of racism?
That would be white people.
Because they're good at it, right?
Yeah, it was a system. They built a system around it.
And they were good at it. I reckon the Asian community tried racism and maybe they came in second or third, right? But when black people practice racism, it's not really that great, innit? Like, we don't take over industries.
No.
Right. And what I'm trying to say is I want white people to let go of this thing that because you're the best at racism and I say I love my people, don't start feeling guilty about you being good at racism. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to my people and I'm saying the same thing that they asked for is the same thing I want to give them in this sense, right? White people don't want to see black people and think about knife crime. Most white people.
Yeah.
That most white
they want to be able to see them and be like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, how you doing? Right? You want to feel safe, right? And I'm saying, let me
talk to my people,
build this clan system within my
so you don't have to even feel that way.
So you don't even need to feel this way. Like when you come into our community, it'll be just like what you saw in the 60s in America. You were sneaking into the black communities to come and dance and come to the blues.
Yeah.
Right? Because you was like, it's so cool, they accept us. Even if you knew that when we crossed over to your side, there's a possibility we could get lynched.
We could die,
But you still came across the outside because what did you know about us?
You knew you weren't going to get lynched.
Right, because we don't do racism like that.
Right, yeah. We don't. Historically, we just don't do
racism to them levels. And it doesn't mean white people are now bad people. Yeah, I'm saying just chill.
Don't get scared when black people say...
Don't get scared when we say...
Because I've had it, you know. When I say, oh, I'm for the full betterment of black people, white people are like, oh, what does that mean? I'm like... Calm down.
So you don't care. So you don't care about white people.
Calm down. It doesn't mean people are going to start killing you. It just means I can identify a problem. And also, like I said, for years, black people have been being told to get on with it and pull yourself up by the bootstraps and get on with it. And what we're saying is 100%. Okay, cool. Let's get on with it. But when we're getting on with it, leave us alone. I don't want to hear you talking about we can't do it.
I don't want to hear with the new Black Panthers and anything like that. And this area is anti this and it's anti that. What I'm saying is everyone accepts that certain areas in London are this community, that community, and this community, owned by this community, owned by that community, yeah? And I'm saying there is no little Africa, there's no little West Indies in the whole of London. Let me expand. In the whole of the UK, there is nowhere you will go where the shops are predominantly owned. The area, the letting agencies are predominantly owned of the properties within that area via black people. I'm saying you lot relax, fam. Yeah, there's no hate.
Seriously, chill. We're not here to kill no one.
No, never.
We're not here to kill or maim or enslave or like. We're not here to do that.
Come on. All you need to do, and these are the last bars I'm going to say on this.
And then we're going to get out of it.
All you need to do is look at our music. We do not talk about harming anyone bar ourselves.
Which is a whole conversation within itself. What a way to end. Listen, family, that is the end of the show. Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for the donated. Thank you for all the people that called in. Thank you to Addoink back there, right, for putting up, for you know, for letting us, for helping us do this whole thing. Do you know what I mean? There's a pivotal piece. You lot don't see him. You don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, he's there and he's the one that makes it run. People, you're going to have to tune in next week. Tune in next week, you know. And could you please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, okay? You need to share this all around the world to all your friends and family and all people in between. Listen, Marcus, any last words?
We touched on family. I would say as last words, the freedoms that other people are getting applied to their families, support them. So you can get your freedoms applied to your families. Don't worry about what they're doing. Worry about when it's your turn, you get your freedoms to be expressed. Yeah. Don't always concentrate on the news, which is things that seem outrageous to you. Yeah. Worry about if they got those freedoms accepted to them, well, I'm going to need my freedoms accepted to me.
All right. On that note, peace, family. Peace.